This comfy, cozy space that you have here.
Well, in the scheme of things, Alan, it's much bigger than some of the little shacks that you can get here, and people live here.
In this building,
not here, not in this room.
But you have there are people actually living in this building with all these bands rehearsing.
Maybe. I don't know if we can.
Oh yeah, no, certainly not. We'll start again. Yeah, this is a nice little place. It's we've been in here for. Have we been in here since the '90s?
We were the first. We were one of the first bands to come in to rent in this place.
So we recorded a bunch of our records here. We recorded Pretty Together. Never Hear the End of It. Parallel Play, our little EP, and this record
Double
here.
Cross.
Basically, the back half of our
career
catalog has been here.
Well, you really don't need much. I mean, it would be cooler to have, I guess, a big room for the drums, or different kinds of rooms for the drums.
Yep.
But this is all you really need to.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people these days, they maybe go to a studio and track some beds or drums, and then they take it all back to their house and do it all.
Yeah, you can just sing in your living room, basically, or here. The trouble with recording here is that it depends on the time of day that you're in here, because there are other bands rehearsing. So if you're doing something like vocals or something quieter, and then you've got this guy just doing the same role over and over again in the background.
He's getting good.
And there used to be this guy next door who he had a drum kit set up right against the wall, and he used to, what would you say he did? Supplemented his income by selling certain products that people enjoy, and he would let them sample those products in the room. You could smell it, and then they'd get on the drums.
I still don't know what you mean.
But they would always get on the drums, and you'd have these stone guys trying to play the drums. It's some who had never played drums before in their life, and you're trying to work, and it's just like bang, bang, bang. But we have Danko Jones.
But what happened? What did we do?
Nothing.
No, so we paid the guy to put his drums down the hall.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, that's the room that we have now with all our junk in it.
Oh, wow, yeah. We have another room in this building. But Danko Jones also rehearsed next door, and I swear to God they put their amps right against the wall. Probably so it's not too loud for them, but it's
so we've arranged with Guns N' Roses to keep taking them out so that we can get some work done.
Yeah.
Oh.
We basically built their career in Europe for them to go to Europe so that we could get work done. Yeah.
Some peace and quiet
You're
here.
welcome.
So, 20 years. It's an awfully long time for any band to be together, don't you think?
I was thinking, yeah,
I think that there are lots of bands that have been together for 20 years, but maybe not bands with all original members, and maybe not bands who are barely making a living.
Okay, so Pearl Jam's celebrating their 20th anniversary this year.
Right.
Yep.
But they've had lineup changes.
Right.
And you guys
Yeah.
haven't.
Right.
I was kind of writing, we're supposed to be writing these articles for Magnet magazine, and I was talking about bands with large discographies, and I kept disqualifying them so that we could basically win the race. So I was like,
Disqualifying bands.
They lineup change, they change singers, they're disqualified or whatever.
Yeah.
So
They broke up for 6 months in 1999.
we kind of did that too.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I forgave a couple of things.
We don't really mention that when we talk about 20 years together. But we've been, in the scheme of things, we even outlive Rush because they don't even have the original lineup going. So
That's true.
But I did, in my article, which, I don't know, maybe we'll post a link to it, I forgave them for that. So, because, it's been since, 74 or whatever.
it's pretty good.
With, they're doing all right.
They still call Neil the new guy.
That's right, yeah. We're big Rush fans, Patrick and I. Rush is a very polarizing band.
They are.
And if you were talking to either of the other guys in our band, they wouldn't.
No.
They're not big Rush fans.
So the album, I like the title, The Double Cross, because there's that hidden Roman numeral meaning in there.
That's right.
Very clever.
Why else would you like the name? Alan.
I am not, well, I thought it kind of was sort of about me, but
Right.
maybe not.
I thought about you at the time, and I wanted to take a special picture with you where there are two of you in the picture. Can we arrange that?
Well, I know that that Jay's working on some special artwork.
Right. Maybe we could throw you on there. Do we have any of them up here?
I don't think
Took them home.
Which, the new ones?
Those handmade ones.
Right.
We handmade a bunch of them.
Well, I'm here.
Right.
We can do it now.
Well, we don't have the equipment.
We have the
damn.
equipment, but we will arrange something. Something special is in the works.
All right.
Don't worry about it. But you say 20 years is a long time, but I keep thinking about it. But I'm like, well, technically, I don't know if you count the Guess Who, but Rush, Blue Rodeo, Tragically Hip.
There are a bunch of
they're all
bands that have been
sort of
around for
still
20
together.
years. I think.
And they're all going 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, I think that says something for the band. I think it says something for the state of the Canadian music industry,
Sure.
and the
think so,
fans
too.
that are willing to support a band over a very long period of time.
Yeah.
I think so too. I think we've definitely benefited from some of the, Canadian content things and stuff like that have supported acts like us who aren't huge, but we're able to make a living and keep making records.
What's the state of your cult status in the States these days?
Virtually unknown, but with being unknown also you have cachet. People. Here we crossed over. It's when you cross over, or once you're on the radio and on TV and stuff like that, or in TV commercials and stuff like that, you kind of lose your.
It's not the band I hate; it's their fans.
To quote, it seems like my quote. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it, but it is Jay's quote actually, that I stole from him. But in the States, we never were with mainstream media at all. Like we weren't on radio, we weren't on TV. Like we were on MTV twice, or.
But we get in there a little bit pieces. Like just this past week, we had a song on some show called Castle, and that was people were talking about that. But there's like I think that there's also like I know when Never Hear the End of It came out, there was a whole resurgence of people like sort of talking about us like they always knew that we were there, and when they weren't really supporting us before. And it was like we get this sort of we're definitely got an underdog status about us, where I almost feel like nobody wants us to succeed because it's cooler to keep us where we are. And but that's it's at least some people are aware of us. I mean, like we said, we're doing this thing for Magnet. We've got we do different things. We're not invisible, but we're not we're not household names.
But as I say, we never crossed over down there, so we always have our sort of people down there who come to see us kind of know our whole catalog. They know the B-sides, whereas people up here, they don't necessarily.
Right.
They may have just heard a couple of songs on the radio.
Being unknown and indie seems to be the norm these days, the status quo for so many bands. So you're in good company.
That's right, but to sort of half quote myself again, we made a name for ourselves when it was possible. It's almost impossible to make a name for yourself now. So we sort of cling to our band brand, which is strong, but it's small in the scheme of things. But we haven't screwed up too bad. So.
And you've been remarkably consistent. I mean, if you listen to this record, I mean, first of all, it sounds like a Sloan record, but it doesn't sound like any other Sloan records. Would you mind if we went through some of the songs on the album?
Oh yeah, sure.
You would mind, or you won't?
Sure, I would. I know what you're saying. I wouldn't mind. Sorry about that, Alan.
Let's begin with "Follow the Leader," which is your. You gave away that one for free, didn't you?
Yep.
Okay, let's talk about social networking and the need to give away stuff for free these days.
I don't understand.
I don't understand either. No, I don't know. I mean, in this day, it's not even so much to do with social media. It's to do with the fact that people aren't buying records. So your record, you're not really making a lot of money off your record anymore. Your record is more so than ever a promotional tool just to promote your band. Whereas before it used to be I felt like everything was sort of geared towards promoting a specific record. I feel now, you put out a record, you want to sell the record, but at the same time, you're really just building a brand, which is your band. And so giving things away, I think, first of all, people are going to get it anyway. And second of all, I think it just makes people feel like you're being generous to your fans, or you're trying to attract other people. I mean, anybody can go to, I don't know what the condition of our MySpace is, but anybody can go to MySpace or something and hear a whole handful of songs. I do it every day when people are saying, we've been talking recently about some bands coming to play with us, and you immediately go to their MySpace page and listen to their music. But basically, that's how people listen to music now, is on their computer. So you're not giving that much away, I don't think. I mean, now you can go to Exclaim and stream our record, the whole record. You can listen to it.
Hey,
now.
even the Beastie Boys and the Foo Fighters are doing that now.
Yeah, everybody's doing it, and so
you can stream our whole catalog at our site. We just want people to go to our site to get it, because you can obviously get it probably anywhere.
Anywhere, yeah. So, and then when people hear it and they like it, then you're coming to town. So then they'll go see you play, and that's where they spend money on tickets, merchandise, whatever, And you get we have a store that's about to launch, and people will be able to buy stuff online as well. So
this is a new store?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say that what you have right now on your website is pretty robust.
Well, we are going to have a lot more to sell.
Like what?
Well, like T-shirts and mugs and whatever else. That, water bottles and anoraks. I don't know. Dungarees.
Anoraks.
I don't know. And drivers.
I'm well aware.
Do
you know the band The Drivers?
Yes.
That's Tears on Your Anorak.
I went to see them in Halifax.
Kind of like Santers, but anyway.
Did you go to see them at the record store signing at Tower?
No.
Tower, not Tower Records.
Towers. I worked at Towers.
All right, that's okay.
All right, the answer was used. The second song, there's a seamless segue from Follow the Leader. And I think there's a bit of something that's tacked on to track one that allows for the segue to happen, or is that just the way it ripped into iTunes for me?
The end of my song was like a whole different ending that had nothing to do musically with the rest of the song. But I knew ahead of time that Jay's song, that I sort of married it to Jay's song, or we married it to Jay's song. So in the recording process, which we do on computers, it's in the same file as the second song, but technically the ID point doesn't change until after my part has happened.
Right. So you drag. Okay, got it.
But it's still part of my song.
Okay.
But I always thought that.
Oh, but today we just
did
recorded it. Sorry.
Yeah, the version we did today, we started it with the end of his song, which I always thought was the beginning of Jay's song.
No.
And so did Andrew, I think. So it's a bit confusing there.
Nice Mellotronic keyboards in that one too.
Yeah, we got Jay's a Mellotron fan,
Yeah.
and we had
But I have
Vincent
to play.
Gallo come in. Play.
I have to play it on guitar, and I've been searching on social networks trying to find if anybody knows of a pedal that makes your guitar sound like a Mellotron.
Oh, there's got to be one.
Well, apparently you can't. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Next track is Unkind, which is a single. Here's what I wrote about it. Rises into the next song with some classic Sloan riffage kicking in. And I said here, has someone's DJ experience taken over because of the mixing between the songs?
Or
and
beat mixing?
Not quite, but certainly very smooth segues between
Well,
songs.
I did the intro for my song, which is the outro for Jay's song is just the little keyboard part. That was what was happening at the end of his. And then when we went to master it, I had this whole EBO type guitar thing going on. It's like harmonies. It's not really EBO. It's just really distorted with delay. But it just turned out that it fit well.
The marriage
together.
of those two songs was
accidental.
Was accidental.
I was talking to the guys from Ale Knows by the Trail of Dead, and what they did with the first side, or the first part of their most current record, How the Dead, is they wrote it all in I think the first one was all written in G or F. And they did exactly the same thing. They realized they were writing all in the same sort of tuning, and they just
put it all together.
put it all together.
Yeah. Well, it's not a happy accident, but I realized after the fact that song Unkind is in D, and the end of Jay's song is kind of D as well, isn't it?
I guess so. Yeah.
So it worked well that way.
Yeah, it's a D.
So now when we're trying to do it live, where we do all three songs just like they are on the record, but it's a little tougher to go from Jay's song into Unkind. We have the whole intro.
Work.
We have the whole intro as a sample basically, and then we have to kick in at a certain point. But there's no real click to it.
The first two were married before we recorded them, and the second two were married after. So there was a little bit of finessing had to happen in mastering. Anyway, maybe that's boring.
Track 4 is Shadow of Love. It's a punky pop thing with probably more words per second than any other song on the album.
Yeah, I also
maybe
have to play crazy bass at the same time.
Yes.
And you guys don't have to do anything. Actually, you're singing the whole time.
I'm singing as well, but I don't have to play crazy bass.
But it's crazy bass.
Crazy bass. That's what we call them.
C bass. Shadow of Love. Yeah, that's a little bit hard to play. Yeah.
She's slowing down again, which makes me think of the Turtles with the pa-pa-pas that come in there.
Andrew always has that sort of ba-ba-ba-ba. We have his other song, going way back, People of the Sky, goes ba-ba-ba-da-ba.
That's right.
And there are a couple of those. I think of that as being like Pavement. Or at the time I did, when we were doing our second record, I thought it was too much like Pavement. I thought it was overt.
Really?
And nobody remembers now.
But the riff of that, the opening riff, is something that he's had on piano, I guess, for years, like many records.
I basically made him record it. Like it's just been around for a while. What did I think it was like? I thought it was like a Beck song. I forget what Beck song it is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
If it was written on piano, that piano breakdown in the song makes sense then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where it came from.
Yeah, he doesn't even know what he's doing. Like, you ask him what chords they are, and he doesn't know.
Next track is Green Gardens, Cold Montreal. I said we got to get the GPS coordinates on this because where is the song set and what's going on in it?
I don't know, and I never really ask. It's Jay's song. I don't know what he's talking about. But what I can say about it is that we've been doing sort of a band version of it, which is kind of fun.
It's in an open G tuning, so it kind of
Keith
gets
Richards over here.
gets a little Stonesy with the full band version, which we'll be doing live, I hope.
Track 7, It's Plain to See. It's a rock and boogie track with close harmonies. Your barroom fighting song.
Barroom fighting song. Well, I was going to say that it rivals Shadow of Love in terms of
words per second.
It's exhausting to sing, but and you have a pretty busy bass line, but you don't have to sing as much.
No.
But
therefore, it's more fun.
It started more as like a Smiths thing, but it sort of migrated into more of a hard rock or punk rock style thing, I guess. But yeah, it's definitely about somebody I find slightly disagreeable.
You want to punch him out.
Well, I never know. I always assume it's me.
No.
Or,
and it's never him.
Right.
Track 8, Your Daddy Will Do.
That's me again.
Back to something more gentle with the melody made into the bass line. This way it sounds like this could have been written in 1974. Not that this is a bad thing. I think the album has some of the finest harmonies that you've done. Yeah. Song switches up into something tighter sounding before going back to that 70s vibe towards the end.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a storyteller vibe, maybe a little bit too much, but I don't know. I like it. I don't know how it's coming along live.
It's also been.
It's hard.
It's existed in a couple of different forms.
That's right.
It was a bit more. It was faster and slightly more rock, I guess, at one point.
Maybe. So was I.
I was playing the. Do you know how I say this? I was playing I was playing it one day with some people around me. Somebody around me.
Here we go.
And it was just the instrumental, and they asked me if it was. They're like, "Is that the thing to the Golden Girls?"
Oh dear.
But I said, "No, it's not. It's Chris's new song."
I wish.
The next song.
What's the theme of the Golden Girls? Isn't it about being friends and stuff? Oh, thank you for being a friend.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Thank you. Friend.
Track 9 is 82 seconds long. I've got to know.
Oh, yes.
I guess.
What year could that have been written?
Well, I was trying to make it like it would be written in like 1979 or something, but like Buzzcocks or something. But I think it ended up sounding
the Buzzcocks.
I think it ended up sounding like Green Day, but
yeah.
So it's spans time.
Yeah, it's everything from the Buzzcocks to Green Day
in 82 seconds.
Yeah.
That huge spectrum.
Yeah.
Beverly Terrace, another song that needs a GPS coordinate.
And that's Jay as well.
Who needs the GPS.
Well, why we need him in here to explain where his head is at.
I don't know, but you can't ask him. He's skittish. No,
He's from Switzerland.
There's that line in there. She wears sunscreen in the middle of winter to remind her of the summers that were kind.
Yeah, it's a good lyric.
It's a good line.
I think she is a he. Very well.
Oh, himself.
Yeah, it's just him, isn't it? I always think he's talking about himself, wishing he was. No, I like that one. I like the lyrics too. And that's another one that I find that one actually the hardest one of all to play. I have too much to think about, so we didn't do it for you today.
Traces, which is the longest song on the album at almost 5 minutes. It's certainly one of my favorites on the record. Mm-hmm. I just like the driving song feel to it with the Farfisa. Well, what sounds like a Farfisa organ in the back.
Well, Andrew played all the drums except for that one. I played drums, and he didn't know. He is so good on the spot that he just said, "Okay, start." So I was like, and then he played guitar along with me live, and he did not know, I don't think, what he was doing.
It was literally just
making it up on the spot.
Yeah.
It goes on. I remember after having recorded that much of it, I was just like, what the hell are you going to do with that? But it was really good.
But it worked out well.
And I really am enjoying playing it, actually. Everybody's got something to do, and it's fun.
I actually wish it was a little bit further up in the running order of the album.
Well, yeah. What do you wish was a little further back?
Well, no. What I'm saying is that I hope people pay attention to the record long enough
far.
to make it that far.
Yeah.
Because it's a nice payoff towards the end.
Well, you don't want to front end load the record. You want to have some gems at the end.
It's true. And then we end with a very quiet closer with melancholy lyrics, a song called Laying So Low. I want to be chosen, but I fear I'm so in the background that I'll disappear. Oh, God. Is that Jay again?
No, it's Chris.
What's wrong with you?
He's worried nobody notices him.
Oh my God, it's so hot in here. You can't quote someone's lyrics like that. You might as well friggin' show your fucking balls.
Yeah.
Pants them. It's like pantsing something.
Because the next thing I was going to say is, geez, when I heard that, I started thinking of Carly Simon and Carole King.
I'm out of here. I love both of those.
Yeah.
But Jay's going to be jealous that he didn't get Carly Simon or Carole King. But that I don't want to drag you into this, but it's a co-write. Musically, I basically stole Patrick's.
I had the music.
He basically wrote the whole thing, and I added
here's the
sad sack lyrics.
Yeah, he for years I had this song, and for years he and I would fight about how the chorus is supposed to go. Like, you won because you went ahead and recorded it without telling me. And then so they recorded it without really asking my permission, and then I went in. I said, okay, well I'll put some guitar on it so I'm not pissed off for the rest of my life, and so I go to record it. First of all, I find out that they've recorded the whole thing in a step down. You have to tune the guitar all the way down. Then I recorded it. Then they erased it. They didn't even use it.
I spent a long time on your guitar
and
part,
then
cutting it up, trying to make it work.
I know, I'm just kidding. And then when we go to learn to play it, I find out that they played it wrong.
Yeah. I forgot, and when he played it for me, there's a nice voicing that we neglected to include, and you can't add it now.
No,
because it's
it doesn't work. Anyway, I like what they did.
You know what though? Just with you as my witness, I'm really sorry about that.
I don't care. If
you
you're
don't.
Sorry, if you're sorry. No, I like it, and I think it's a good album closer, and I think we'll play it well live if we play it. I think it would be a good closer for a show, actually.
Yeah. Well.
But no, that's people are often moaning that we don't collaborate, but we do, just not necessarily.
What do you mean you don't collaborate? I mean, I can't think of another band that collaborates more.
Well,
yeah.
but we're often, because we all sing and our songs sound like Andrew's songs sound like Andrew. And, people often, certainly with fans, some fans are like, if they would just write together, it would be so much better. But I think that's sort of collaboration, even though we're not in the same room necessarily, and B, I don't know of any band really where all four people collaborate on every song. Like it's usually two people or one person,
Yeah.
So
we have all four people.
All those people.
Four different. It's like I'm tired of four different colors. Mix all those colors together.
Yeah.
I just want it to be brown.
Right. Yeah.
Brown's a good color for a band too.
There's nothing wrong with brown.
Brown's the new brown.
So 34 minutes and the whole thing is over. This seems to be the trend towards these days where, let's not put any fat on a record. If it has to be 30 minutes long, it's 30 minutes long.
Well, there's still 12 songs on it. So it's not like, a lot of records that you get certainly in the 70s, there's like 8 songs or 7 songs on it.
Yeah, but they're like
long.
Apollo, bringer of wisdom,
Close to the edge.
Yeah.
But part of it is probably that because 4 people are writing, they're bringing what they consider to be their best songs to the table, as opposed to one guy coming up with 12 songs. Probably at least
8 good ones.
Yeah, at least 4 are going to come.
4 12-bar blues.
Yeah. So that's probably part of it.
How do you, after 20 years, stop bringing in 12-bar blues jams? I mean,
Tracy's is pretty much 12-bar blues.
Yeah.
We have a couple 12-bar blues, although I was never a fan of the blues growing up, that's to be sure. But I don't know, it's almost like, in some ways it's almost like we have 4 solo careers going on. When you add up all of the songs that we're responsible for, like I feel like I have about 65 or 70
What?
songs.
Yeah, songs.
Which is not, which in 20 years is not that hard to come up with. I think of someone like Ron Sexsmith, how many records does he have, like 13? He writes them all?
Yeah, that would be.
Like, that's crazy. He must be crazy.
But even now I'm thinking about even that song I've Got to Know is 12-bar blues.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, we have
Just
probably a
depends
whole
on
bunch
how you,
of sort of
how you doll it up.
1-4-5s.
1-4-5. Yeah.
How much longer can you do this?
I don't know. We want to practice a bit more. So maybe another 10 minutes.
Another 10, 15 minutes. I don't know. I joke that this far in, you're either, you're doing it because either the fans demand it, the money's so good you can't turn it down, or you like each other so much.
Or you really like doing it.
But none of those apply to us.
But I think also though we are at a time when things are changing. Like, as I was saying, people aren't buying records. People are giving music away for free. I think live shows are becoming more important, and so it's not really the same thing as it was 10 years ago. So, our future might be maybe this is the last album we do, or maybe we just release songs individually, or collections of little EPs. Then we release them all as CDs late, every couple of years. So it's not. I guess it's not boring. You know what I mean? And we have enough going on outside of recording. Usually, if we aren't recording or on a real tour, we're still playing shows or we're still doing something, and so 20 years it seems like a long time in a way, but I always think of it more as in terms of albums, because the cycle of an album really represents a year, except it's longer than a year. But in between, Parallel Play and this record, that's kind of a year to me, even though it's a couple of years. So. I would imagine. I don't know. I don't know how many more albums we would do, but I definitely think we would continue to play for a while.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to stop. We might just have to do other things to supplement income, or just to get away from our wives, these guys. But I don't know. We get along enough with the other thing about it that we say every time that's a little bit boring, maybe, is that we split the money and we split the credit. So everybody's in the same boat. We don't have a Sting character who's rich beyond your wildest dreams.
And we've spent 20 years building this up. So to walk away from it now, it just seems like you got to ride it right into the ground. You can't just.
That's right. Well, the idea of trying to start over, trying to make a name for. First of all, I'm a fan of bands, and I'm not that interested in the idea of making my own record, really. Might make more money I probably wouldn't even. But anyway, I look like I'm teary-eyed, but I'm coughing. I just love the band so much. Oh God.
Yeah. So in closing,
we're all these bands in Canada are ahead of us. Rush has been around for how long? We have to wait for those guys to die so that we can become those. Elder statesmen. We're still Jim Cuddy's still kicking me around like the new guy. I've been here for 20 years, Jim. He's like, whatever, suck it up.
Suck it up.
Well, I actually cannot imagine the Canadian rock scene without you guys.
Hey, nor you, Alan.
Well, thank you, but it's been so long. It just wouldn't be the same without you. So, good on you. Glad you're here. Good job. Good record, and we'll see you on the road this summer.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you very much. Hey.
ExploreMusic wears English Laundry apparel.